Just a multi-pronged question. When did you feel that you needed a new captain? When did you start to think that Will was the guy for you? And was there a moment when you thought, this is it? And the final part of it, when did you tell him and what was his reaction?
Yeah, well, part of the job of taking over the team was to develop a leadership team that could take Australian rugby back to where we want to be, and that's at the top of the world. So at the start, there's a bit of trial and error. You know, we went with two experienced guys in Hoops and Slips, but unfortunately Hoops got injured after one game, so that was the end of that experiment. So Slips captained for the second game. We brought Tate in for the fourth game, and we've been looking at to see what is the right mix of people to captain the team or to lead the team. Yeah, it's more than captain, it's more leading the team than captaining the team, because you can be a good captain and a poor leader. And Will's a very good leader of men. And when did the process start? We've been thinking about it, you know, pretty strongly for the last 2 weeks. You know, when you get up to World Cup selection, it's the only thing you think about for a period of time. So then there's a series of conversations with various people, some giving advice, some giving you contrary advice, and then you have a conversation with Will, which was a couple of days ago. We had a quick chat, asked him to have a think about it, because sometimes, you know, particularly for the humble players, captaincy is not something they want, and you have to encourage them to take it. You know, I've had similar situations with other good men like Will. And then we had a chat, I think it was last night or the night before. I've been on a plane for the last 4 days, so I'm not quite sure which night it was. But we came to the decision that he's the man to take the job. So a bit of a convoluted answer to a convoluted question.
Moreno?
Hi Coach, good morning from Italy. Just one question. I've heard that Fabio Ongaro will be with you ahead of the French match in Paris. Will he be there helping or just learning and studying? Which will be his role?
Drinking. No, Fabio's he's a very good friend of mine. I had the privilege of coaching him at Saracens, and we've kept in contact. He's going to come in, spend the week with us. Like he's done that before with Japan and with England, and he'll come in, have a look at what we're doing. If there's something he can help with, some advice he can give us, he'll give us that advice.
Thanks. Christy?
Yeah, g'day Eddie. Lenny Cattell is not in the squad. How close was he? And how did you balance some of the guys that are injured and some that aren't? Was Yucatel particularly close, or do you think that the injury is too severe?
No, he was close, mate. And we had to draw a line as who we take that is borderline fitness and who we decided not to take. And again, it just comes down to judgment of what we think we can carry and what we can't carry. So we've decided that we wouldn't take Lenny. He hasn't had a lot of rugby, obviously, for the last 6 or 7 weeks, but there's no reason once he gets fit he couldn't feature in the World Cup, because, you know, we just saw in the Rugby Championship, I think from the original squad we lost at least 7 of those players. So the World Cup, which is obviously more games, there's reason to think the players who are out of the squad, who are not currently at their best, may feature later in the tournament.
Just quickly,
I'll try and get through a few, Christy, if we can. Thanks, mate. We'll go to Nathan if we can. Thanks, mate.
And just on Isaac getting selected, when did he emerge in the radar, and what do you like about what he can bring to the squad?
Yeah, well, you might remember we brought him into the early camps when the non-finalists were training, and he impressed greatly. Look, we decided to go with Ryan as the third halfback for the Rugby Championship, but feel that, you know, particularly the way the game's going, having a halfback who can defend like a back rower at the end of the game is a particular advantage.
Thanks, Nath. Jacques, you're the next on our list, mate.
Yeah, Eddie, you obviously got a young team that's not used to win. Is that really a problem? And was there a temptation to try to play a weaker nation just after or before France?
No, look, sometimes leading into the World, you got to remember the World Cup's a tournament, and when the first ball's kicked off, everyone starts equally, and whilst you mightn't have wins next to your name, the confidence you can build by playing the way you want to play is important. And I can tell you that we're a team that hasn't had a winning record, but we're feeling like we're moving in the right direction. We know we're not that far away. If you look at that first half against New Zealand, we were able to really dominate them for the vast majority of that first half. And that's a good sign for us now. If we can do that for longer periods of play, we're going to be a pretty good team.
Jeff, you have something for Eddie or Will?
For Eddie, hi Eddie, congratulations Will. Eddie, how close is this team to the list of players that you first started writing down earlier this year? And can you talk us through the process around how your thinking changes over time?
Right, so I put that dummy squad out at Melbourne Rebels when I was having a meat pie watching the Rebels play. How far is it from that? You'll be able to check the photos, mate. Look, there's been some players come from outside the thinking, players I really didn't know a lot about. I'd heard about Jorgensen, heard about him at schoolboys, but you hear a lot of players at the schoolboy level, and he was impressive at Super Rugby. So I think it'd be about maybe 70% of what we knew and 30% different, approximately.
Thanks, Jeff. Finn, did you have a question for Will already, mate?
Yeah, sure do. G'day, Eddie. Mate, the omissions of Margaluba and Quaid, obviously a big talking points, but from your point of view, how tough were those phone calls, I guess, to make to those players, telling them that they would be going to France?
Yeah, look, they're terrible phone calls, mate. You never like to tell a player he's not in the squad. Just sent me back about 4 weeks ago. I went up and watched the game in Coffs Harbour and caught up with my old schoolboy coach, Jeff Mould. And we went over and sat by the scrum machine. He's close to 90 now. And he said, I want you to tell me the truth now. He said, did you blame me for being left out of the Australian schoolboys? This is 1977, so he's still feeling that hurt of leaving me out in 1977. So these conversations, it's more pain. Don't get me wrong, they're more painful for the player, but for a coach, they're not the discussions you like to have.
Thanks, Finn. Tommy?
Hey Eddie, just wanted to clarify with Michael Hooper whether that's form or fitness. You sort of said you don't know when he will be back. Then on stand there, you just said he might be available for that France warm-up game. Why would you not pick him if he's a chance for that France game?
Well, I'm not here to talk about players we haven't selected. I've said we haven't picked Michael. He could be fit for the French game. We don't know. He's got a calf injury. And there's a number of players in that category, but I've made a decision this is the best 33 for the World Cup.
Alex, did you have a question, mate? We can't see you, but I can see your hand is up.
Yeah, sorry about the lack of camera, it's busted. Just a quick question for Will. Obviously, congratulations on the honour of being named Captain of the Nation. I suppose, what does that honour mean to you, and what are the sort of qualities do you think you bring to that role?
Yeah, it's very special, mate, not just for me, but my family. Represent this country, put on the jersey is one thing, and then to be named captain, selected by Eddie is it's something that I'll never forget. What comes with that is a lot of responsibilities, a bit more pressure, but for me it's just about being myself, leading in the only way I can, which is through my actions. I'm not much of a talker around the team, but it's about those micro comms and getting this group well connected for a hard slog that's going to be the World Cup.
Sammy Bruce, I think you're in there. We've just got time for one or two more guys, and then we'll have to get out of here. Thanks.
Yeah, hey Eddie, just on Max Jorgensen, he's obviously coming back from an injury. as well. How much of his selection is about 2027, or can he come back and push these outside back options you've got later in the tournament?
No, one of the reasons is that he's such a versatile player. You know, he can play fullback or wing equally as well. He is a player of the future for Australian rugby, and we want to give him the opportunity to go to this World Cup. He'll contribute, mate. Every time he gets on the field, he'll play well for us, but then he'll take that experience on to the next World Cup.
Thanks, guys. Does anyone have one more question before we head off to the next commitment?
I'll chime in now.
Thanks,
Will. Congratulations. Can you tell us when you last captained the side, if you did it in juniors or in France even, or give us a bit of a rundown on that experience?
Experience. I think I captained once, and that was for the Wallaby 15. I think it was we had 3 days to prepare in 2016 in Bordeaux against the French Barbarians. So I lack a lot of it, but like I said before, I'm excited for this challenge. I'm excited to see what this group can do. Very young, very enthusiastic, ambitious, and we're looking to make some headlines out in France.